What's up, good people? You got Lavelle here, aka Vell, and welcome to my channel, The Evolution of Vell. Yes, we are back with another video, and today I am giving my reaction to the court transcripts of Terica Ellis's hearing, where the judge is interviewing the detectives that are now giving more details. And disclaimer for the strangers who stop by here and make crazy comments, what I am not here to do is break news. I react to news that is broken. I am not a newscaster. I am not a detective. I am not involved in the case whatsoever. I am reporting and reacting in my way with my own thoughts to information that is out there and readily available for you wherever you can access it. And you may have heard it before because I have a job, a full-time job at that. And so I put these videos out when I have time. So with that, if you are new to this channel and that's not what you're here for, please take this time to subscribe below and click that notification bell so that you'll be aware of when I post new videos weekly and those ones sprinkled in. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out the way and cleared the house of internet trolls and keyboard bullies, let's get started with our content. So during one of the last court hearings for Terica Ellis, there were court transcripts that were released. So what I'm gonna do is jump right into the transcripts and give my commentary as I review them out loud with you guys. So what I'm gonna do with the court transcripts is jump around to the juicy parts and give my commentary. And some of this is new information for those of us who haven't had time to follow the case as closely. And what we'll get is some details that once again like tie some pieces together, like what was happening, what steps were made prior to. So it actually helps us get into the minds of the criminals who unfortunately killed our dear Andre. So one of the questions to one of the investigators here who's answering the questions is, did she tell investigators what her relationship was with the victim at the time? He answers yes. And what was that relationship, or how did she meet the victim, Mr. Montgomery, in reference to Andre? And the answer was she met Mr. Montgomery while she was working at a strip club called Bottoms Up, where they exchanged numbers. So we had heard that before, and this confirms that that's exactly how they met. Andre was at the strip club and they exchanged numbers. And that was the strip club in East St. Louis. So then we get into more of the play-by-play of what occurred on the actual day of the homicide. And so the question was, and can you advise the court of what she told you occurred on the day of the homicide? The answer, yes. She received a message from Mr. Norman to meet at his hotel. She responded to the hotel where she met and they had sex and then showered. Mr. Norman asked if she knew Mr. Montgomery. She stated that she did after she observed the photograph that Mr. Norman showed her. He requested her assistance with locating him after he notified her of the burglary that occurred at his mother's residence, where approximately $200,000 in cash was stolen, and advised her that he would pay for her assistance. At the time, she told us that she received $5,000 to do this. It was later determined after she was confronted with the evidence that she said it was actually $10,000. She and Mr. Norman went to a Walgreens that was close to the hotel, where she obtained 2 burner phones, prepaid cell phones. Tim then put in a phone number for Terica to contact him once she was able to locate Andre. So then, this is interesting because I don't remember hearing about this part, which is Terica was then able to contact Andre, and then she met him at a La Quinta Inn hotel in St. Louis County. She then contacted Tim and told him that she had located Andre. Then Tim advised her that his boys were not ready, which we talked about in a previous video. But he then told her to stay in touch and then call the number that he had already put in the burner phone. But he then told her to stay in touch and give him a call once she had another location for Andre. So what I find interesting is that it says that she met Andre at a La Quinta Inn hotel. So then this brings to mind for me, what I didn't know before is if she met Andre at a La Quinta Inn earlier, that means that that was the original setup spot that she had for Tim's boys to get at him. Then what happened at that hotel? Because would he just come to the hotel and they sit in the parking lot for no reason? So it got me to thinking, like, and they didn't state it in this transcript and I haven't heard it anywhere yet, but did they have sex? Like, did she get down with Andre and then, like, because she got a young boy to come over there, so you know something probably went down. Like, did she do that and then knowing that her plan was to have him set up? I'm like, what kind of spirit you got on you that you could be with someone intimate and obviously cool enough that not only did he see her at La Quinta, but then we know later he saw her later on that night when he got in the car. So like, you got some level of a relationship with him, knowing that you're setting him up, whether you knew he was being killed or not. You knew at the very least somebody was getting at him and was most likely gonna hurt him in some way. So that's deep to me. But you guys let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Or text me as well. We got a text number, you guys remember that. But let me know what you think about that. Do you think that they possibly were intimate like the day of? Do you think they were intimate at all? Like, I don't know. So after Andre went about his way, she left the La Quinta Inn and then went to the St. Louis Galleria Mall, which is the part we did here. So that's in my other videos as well, where we know she went to the Galleria Mall. She went there to purchase pants so that I think, and there was a comment, someone asked the question of like, well, why was she purchasing pants? What was the significance of that? Well, that was a way to lure Andre out, because you're gonna most likely be able to attract someone to come out to you in a car if you're like, hey, I'm just stopping by and I have something for you, I have a gift for you, versus, hey, I just want you to come to the car so I can talk to you for a minute. So I think that was the purpose of the pants. It was a tangible excuse to get him to come out of the home that he was in at the time. So of course we already know that after that, and some of this I'm gonna recover just because there are probably some new people watching, but what we do know is after she left the Galleria Mall, so then she texts Andre and she's saying, hey, I got pants for you, where are you? So that, you know, I can come and drop them off to you. So after Andre responded with the address on Natural Bridge of where he was located, Terica then, per Tim's instructions, called the number in the burner phone to let an individual know what the address was. So in the transcript, it actually states that she says she doesn't know who that individual was, but it was someone on the phone with a deep voice. So to me, that points to there being a separate shooter, which we've all been speculating about, but we just have not yet heard of who that is or if they even know. We're still waiting on that information, people. So you don't need to comment in this video who's the shooter, because we don't know yet. And as soon as we find out, we'll let you guys know. Or other people will who are breaking this news story, because again, I'm just reacting and late to the party. So once she gets to the address on Natural Bridge where Andre is, she then contacts that individual again, who's obviously the hidden shooter or the mysterious shooter, and she tells them that she is there with Andre. Then Andre comes out of the house, he gets in the car with Terica, so then they talk for approximately 2 minutes before he then exits the vehicle. So then the transcript goes on to say, as soon as he exited the vehicle, she advised us she received a phone call telling her to leave, which was later proven to be false. So she lied about that. She then pulled away from the residence where she heard gunshots and immediately got on the highway and headed back to Memphis. But then it goes on to say, immediately following the homicide, she contacted Mr. Norman, advising him of what happened. Tim advised her to dump the cell phone and stay out of St. Louis. And then the judge asked, did she ever call the police? The answer, of course, was no. We all know this now. So then the question was, did she dump the cell phone to your knowledge? And then the investigator said, yes, she did. Terica told them that she had dumped it at an unknown gas station. So then it goes on to say, after the murder, did she have any further contact with Mr. Norman? The investigator then says, yes. Her mother, and her daughter flew out to Los Angeles, California, where they met Tim and had dinner. So this is like a real relationship here. So then it says, do you know approximately when that was? The investigator says, it was days after, maybe 3 days after, about a week after. So you were surprised that, so let's try to go with Terica's excuse or alibi. Is that she had no idea that Andre was going to be killed. It was a total surprise to her. Let's even go with the fact, because let's go with this. You are bamboozled, you're slow like that, and you think somebody's going to pay you $10,000 just to get somebody, I don't know, jumped on or found. And you then find out after you're in it and it happens that the person is killed. So Andre is killed and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know this was what y'all was trying to do with Andre. Would you go out to dinner? Would you fly? First of all, would you fly to the location of the person who set you up to be involved in that? And then would you go out to dinner with him? So to me, that's a dead giveaway that she was totally okay and totally in line with everything that went down because she wanted to continue the relationship with Tim. And did, that we already know she did. Crazy, people, crazy. Whew. Okay, so the question was, now during the interview that you had with Terica on August 17th, did she indicate who she was staying with in St. Louis at the time of the murder? She was actually staying with friends. So why did you have a hotel room when you met with Andre? Why wouldn't you have Andre meet you at your friend's house or a restaurant or something? So you had him meet you at a hotel because either it was purely for the setup purposes or you had sex with him and it was for the setup purposes. Interesting. So then it goes on to where the judge is asking about them investigating and reviewing her Facebook accounts and her other social media. And the investigator says that's all in the process. So we know about that as well in our other videos. Click up there. We have a whole little playlist of our recounts of that. Ooh. So here's another part. Man, this stuff is telling. So then the judge says, have y'all done any initial cursory review of her accounts to see if she has had any contact with anybody else since she's been locked up? So then the investigator responds yes and gives the names of the two individuals. And so the judge says, and the two individuals that she was staying with during the time of the homicide? The investigator states correct. So what's very telling to me is that she's definitely making sure that she's in communication with the two people who would be her alibis for when she was in St. Louis during the time of the homicide. So I'm sure she's like giving them codes like, hey, don't say this is what happened, I told you this, or tell them this. That is very telling. I find this interesting. This could go one of two ways. It could be that, hey, these are family members or close friends, and I would call my best friends if I was locked up, you know, for any length of time or something. So it could be that. It could be innocent. Or it could be you guys are technically my alibi for when I was there during the homicide. So I'm gonna need y'all to cover my tracks. Who knows? But y'all let me know below. What do you think? Do you think it's, oh, I'm just keeping in touch with my friends and letting them know and emotional support? Or, hey, was this like, hey, I need you guys to start covering up some ish. Burn some ish, throw away some ish. But then the judge does ask if the investigators at that time knew the nature of those messages that she had with her friends who she obviously was staying with, or she stated that she was staying with during the time of the homicide. So the investigator says that they do not at this time have any information on that. I'm sure they recorded those calls or messages, however they sent stuff from jail, I don't know. But I'm sure they got records of it. So then the judge asks, do you know the last time that Terica had communication with Tim? So the investigator then says, when we interviewed her, I believe she advised us that it was a month prior to her arrest, which was around July 2020 of this year. So then the judge asks about her employment, if she's a business owner. And so the investigator stated that she was a business owner and that she was also an exotic dancer to his knowledge. So the current investigator who's being interviewed had just gotten on this case last year, and the judge was just confirming that he basically got on the case last year, but that he had to become very familiar and caught up to speed with everything that was going on. And the investigator confirmed that yes. Then the judge goes into asking the investigator about the cell phones and if he actually knew who purchased the cell phones. He then responded that he got that information from Terica herself. Then the judge states what a lot of us are curious about. The judge says, I'm curious because that was all known to law enforcement back in 2016, but she wasn't questioned regarding anything in this case until this year. Do you know why it took so long to develop Miss Ellis as a suspect in this case? And then the investigator says it was an ongoing investigation. So then it goes on to get into specifics of the phones and the burner phones and the communication of the phones that had contacted Andre the day of his homicide or prior to. And so they had tracked Andre's phone. And so he was stating that the burner phone that they had tracked ending in 4415 was the same cell phone that was tracked going down I-55 after the homicide. And so then the judge goes into confirming that that was also the phone that was pinged at the location at the Chase Park Hotel, where we know that Tim was staying and where he met up with Terica. And then it also states that they were both pinged in that area around the Chase Park Plaza Hotel. So then it's asked, who was able to confirm, was it Miss Ellis that was able to confirm for you that those two track device numbers were the ones that she and Mr. Norman used on the day of the homicide? And the answer was she was. So then another interesting piece of this is many of us were under the assumption that Terica had met Tim in the Bottoms Up strip club. However, in this transcript of the testimony, it states that they actually met around 2011 or 2012 through mutual friends. So they actually had a relationship outside of her career and had been hooking up on and off for years, actually. And that's probably what Janae was referring to in one of our reaction videos of the Welcome to Sweetie Pie series, where she was like, you always claim you working, but I don't really know what you be doing. Well, he was probably with Terica some of those work days. He was working all right. So then it goes on to ask if the investigators believed that Terica had any knowledge of the insurance policy and the amount, etc., etc. And so the investigator stated that he does not believe that she had any knowledge of things on that level. I doubt he would let her know that, because if you're telling me, hey, I want to have my, family member killed off and I want you to be a part of it, but I'm gonna get $450,000, I'm gonna give you $10,000. A lot of people would be like, what? So yeah, I think she probably didn't know about that as well. So then it goes on to the attorney asking the investigator, when you spoke to Terica during her statement, she never indicated to you or the agents in your presence that she knew or understood that Mr. Montgomery was going to be killed on March 14th of 2016, did she? So the answer was she was under the understanding that she was supposed to locate him so his boys could get up on him. This is what she used. So her statement was, boys get up on him. And that's all that she knew. And I don't know. I'm not in the streets like that. So I don't know if that only means murder. I don't know if it can mean either. I've definitely heard get up on you, but I've heard it in like various ways. Like it could be a good thing too. So let me get up on you. I don't know. So comment below, like, what do you guys think? Is it a term that could be used in various ways, which is what I think? Or do you think it only means murder, or it only means jumping on somebody? What do you guys think? Let me know below or text me. Okay, so what else do we have here? Because we want to speed this video up. I don't want it to be too long. So here it is, people. Here it is. So then when it comes to the burner phones, it is basically they're getting clarity on which phones call which, and then the investigator clarifies that Tim did not have a burner phone. Tim was actually using his own phone number. The two burner phones went to Terica, and get this, the shooter. And then the investigator says, yeah, there were other phone calls on that burner phone with Andre and Tim and the other individual. So Terica was communicating with the other individual, who we will assume is the shooter, allegedly. And so I really have a hard time now believing that she's as innocent and not knowing, like, cause you met up with, cause she says that she doesn't know who that individual was, but I know in some of the other court documents that I've read, I know that it stated that they all met at Tim's hotel where the phones were exchanged. So how did you not see that individual, but you guys were all there and the phones got set up there, and you went with Tim to go get the phones, and then what, he just took the phone from you and then handed off to the other person? I don't know. He don't seem that smart, because obviously he left a lot of loose ends. So I don't see him thinking, let me not allow her to see the other individual. I'll just take this phone and give it to them without her knowing. I don't quite see that. And the fact that they've been friends, homie lover friends, for 8 or 9 years makes me think that he probably wouldn't be that secretive with her at this point. So then it basically closes with a question regarding if there was any mention or fear of Tim threatening to kill Terica Ellis, and the investigator says he doesn't recall that. And I don't know. I'm like, what do you guys think? Comment below. Do you feel like Terica's hesitation to come out earlier than actually just being arrested and having to be forced into testimony? Do you feel like it was due to her fearing for her life or the life of her family? Or do you feel like she was just really in on this and she was down with it until now when the issues hit the fan? So with that, that was all. This was my reaction to the transcripts regarding Terica. So that's all I have for this video. If you made it to this point in the video, let me know by commenting below. Soul ties. Soul ties, yes. Because you have to be very conscious of who you are intimate with, who you lay down with. As the saying goes, you lie down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. It's the same as a soul tie. You tie yourself with your soul, being intimate with certain people. You start to pick up those spirits. You start to get into things you shouldn't be getting into, and it could lead to you losing your life. It could be through death, but it also could be through a life sentence. So, also, if you are new to this channel and you didn't subscribe in the beginning, when I asked nicely, I'm going to ask again. Please subscribe, because obviously you're interested because you made it this long. And click that notification bell below so that you'll be aware of when I post new videos weekly and those ones sprinkled in. I think I'm going to stop saying that because I'm just posting videos whenever I feel like it now. But at least weekly. Like at least one a week, and then it's just whenever. And also, if you are already a part of the EOV subscriber family, thank you guys. I love you. I appreciate you who are a part of the notification gang and the comment below gang. Thank you guys. Please remember to like this video to show that extra level of support that helps our channel grow. Just remember, we do have a text community now, so you can text me. I will see your comments, unlike many of the ones below that I will not probably even notice, depending on how much time I have and the mood that's down there. Because sometimes the trolls get a little heavy and I'm like, I'm done. I ain't looking them up. So in order to avoid getting caught up in that, text me directly and I will respond. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. With that, thank you again. Love you guys. Till next time, till I upload the next video. Take care. Be blessed. Peace.